I'm Tracy Baxter with today's Record Newswatch. Civil rights attorney Michael Sussman is speaking out today on the autopsy report that indicates Newburgh resident Michael Lembhard was shot 15 times during his March 7th confrontation with city police, including 8 shots that hit him in the back of the arms, legs, and torso. In a statement released earlier today, Sussman said the case raises profound questions about the excessive use of force, police training, and the procedures in place for investigating such cases. Relatives had requested the autopsy report from the Orange County Medical Examiner's Office after Lembhard was killed during a confrontation with police officers. Police said Lembhard lunged at them with a knife. The autopsy also determined that there was angel dust and marijuana in his system. The families repeatedly called for a special prosecutor to take over the investigation from the Orange County District Attorney's Office, which is expected to present evidence to a grand jury. A family was set to move into the house tomorrow. Instead, plywood was being put up today on what's left of the unoccupied ranch house that went up in flames early this morning in the town of Cornwall. The 3-alarm blaze erupted shortly before 2 a.m. at the house at number 35 Ridge Road. Dozens of firefighters from Cornwall and vicinity arrived to discover the house fully engulfed. Investigators, including an arson canine, were brought to the scene in an attempt to find out how the fire got started. There were no reports of any injuries. Sullivan County legislators appear poised to override the state's mandated 2% cap on tax levy increases, a move they say is necessary to raise the revenue needed to help deal with a projected budget deficit next year. County leaders say the move to hike taxes above 2% for 2013 appears to be their only move because of the lack of budget cut options and depleted county fund balances that had provided the money needed to keep the tax rate steady over the past 2 years.
You know, I said a year ago that the state government, wanted to pat themselves on the back by saying that they did something for property tax relief and enacted a tax cap. The tax cap is meaningless without mandate relief.
A public hearing will be held July 19th to discuss Sullivan County's planned tax cap override. Elsewhere in Ulster County, a man faces up to 7 years in prison in connection with a fatal highway incident in the town of Cornwall last April. 29-year-old Baruch Medina of Plattekill pleaded guilty to leaving the scene of an incident without reporting. Police say Veronica Gutierrez of Monroe jumped out of his moving car and onto a Route 9W ramp. Medina got out of his car, saw she was injured, then drove off. Gutierrez later died. After serving his prison sentence, Medina will face deportation. There's been no explanation given for Gutierrez's actions. Police in Middletown are looking for the public's help in tracking down 3 men who have continued to evade capture following a major drug sweep in February that targeted members of the Bloods street gang in Middletown. 33 suspects were named in the federal indictment, and while most were rounded up during the early morning raid, 3 remain at large. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of 19-year-old Tayshawn Fields, 32-year-old Wilfredo Gonzalez, and 27-year-old Kevin Williams are asked to call 212-384-5000. Construction workers have replaced students these days on the Middletown campus of SUNY Orange. As one of their improvement projects, the construction of a 300-vehicle parking garage is now under motion at the former parking lot adjacent to the college's phys ed building. The garage, which is due to open next January, will provide what's been needed on campus for decades: additional parking spaces. The campus upgrade projects also include a new Kinder College lab school, a center for science and engineering, and demolition of the Sarah Wells building. To accommodate construction, shuttle service will begin this fall to remote parking lots at the Paramount Theater and South Winds. And ready or not, here comes more technology. The ShopRite supermarket in Chester is one of the latest area stores to introduce self-checkout lanes for their customers. Some like them, some don't. Those who don't say they like the personal contact with an employee at the register. Others say they prefer to swipe and scan items themselves. Reporter James Walsh will have more on this growing store trend and the implications in an upcoming story here at Record Online and in the Times Herald Record. It'll be a good weekend to spend time outdoors. Saturday will be mostly sunny with temperatures getting up around 80 degrees. Not much change expected for Dad on Father's Day, with a Sunday forecast that includes more sunshine and temperatures reaching the low 80s. Make Record Online your source for breaking news and get a complete roundup on all that's happening by reading the weekend editions of the Times-Herald Record. For Record Newswatch, I'm Tracy Baxter.